around 9:30 every weekday morning. And the reason we're doing this is we just want to stay connected, and we want you to continue growing in your walk with Christ. And we also recognize that in these perilous times, these unprecedented times, there's a lot of people that are just a little uncertain. And so I want to just present to you a short, 3-4 minute devotional. This morning we're in Matthew 25, 34 to 40. This is what it says. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to me." Then the righteous will answer him, saying, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? And when did we see you a stranger and welcome you, or naked and clothe you? And when did we see you sick or in prison and visit you?" And the king will answer them, "Truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these my brothers, you did it to me." I think this passage is unbelievably appropriate in our current situation. We live right now in a time of unprecedented uncertainty, and people are worried. And yet God has not called us to hide. He's not called us to complete isolation. Now, that being said, we isolate for the benefit of those amongst us who are afraid of this virus, who could get sick and could die from it. And so we care for our neighbor that way. What I'm getting at is that the righteous people that Jesus is talking about, they're the church. They're the church that have truly loved and followed Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. And they have done all of these things that are tangible acts of service to one another. And Jesus says doing that to one another is like doing it to me. That Jesus calls them out. I mean, this is a moment in time that Jesus is separating the sheep and the goats, and he's giving reward to those. He's calling those people into their rest. And so as I sit and read that, I think, man, how appropriate is that right now? Because there are those among us who are sick. There are those among us who are fearful. There are those among us who maybe are hungry and just are struggling with the humiliation of asking for help. And so I want to challenge you, church. I want to challenge us as Countryside Community Church to do something. I mentioned it, and you'll see it in the sermon on Sunday, but I would like all of us to call 2 people this week, 2 people that we haven't spent a lot of time with at church. I want you to pick up the phone, grab the directory, and just go, this is a person that I haven't gotten to know, and I want to call them, and I want to see how they're doing. I want to see if there's any way that I can tangibly serve them in this time of uncertainty. And that might mean that, you make a grocery store run for somebody who's shut in, who's a little worried. And when you drop the groceries off, you don't wait for a thank you. You don't wait to be invited in. You just drop them at the door. You wave, pray a prayer through the glass, and head on your way and be the hands and feet of Jesus to that person. Maybe it means even more than that challenge. Maybe it means you talking or writing a note to neighbors saying, "Hey, how can I support you in this time? How can I pray for you? How can I be Christ in the darkness?" Because for a lot of people, this is a scary time. There are those that have been laid off and are wondering where their next meal is going to come from or where their next check is going to come from. There are those who are afraid of catching this disease or who are vulnerable to this disease that can't go out. And maybe they just need a phone call, somebody saying, "I care about you." And so as we go through this week and as we think about this biblically, let's join together and not be isolated, because we live in a time where we have the technology. God has blessed us with the technology to stay connected, even if we can't see each other face to face. So I'm praying for you. I know the elders are praying for you, and they'll be calling you. Hope to join you every morning in this format. All right. Love you, church. Bye-bye.